Still on the 63rd independence anniversary of Nigeria, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 election, Atiku Abubakar, has urged Nigerians to be prepared to pull the country back from uncertainty to a place of common safety. The former vice president, in his message on Nigeria's 63rd Independence Day anniversary, stated that the anniversary was coming at a time when the country is at a crossroad in many aspects of national life. According to him, the talents and doggedness of young Nigerians who have refused to give up on the country are the inspiration for a greater future that the nation celebrates. He acknowledged that the energy of the Nigerian youth is a formidable force in the consternation of manpower and skills that power the global economy. So this evening, we have a conversation that takes us through the stories. And of course, joining me to talk about this is Katch Ononuju, Director General, Heritage Center. Thank you so much, Katch, for joining us. All right, you need to unmute your device anyway, but I believe you can hear me. It's been 63 years of independent nationhood for Nigeria. How would you rate the country's journey so far?
I will tell you that it's been a disappointment, but that's also due to the fact that the country was given to trader politicians. But now the youth have finally woken up. And I can tell you that where we are right now is a historic place. Today, as we are talking, the youth have woken up. The youth have now gained enough critical mass that I believe if you look at the Sahel, there is a movement to take back the Sahel by the young people. Same for Nigeria. Now, that's been only undermined by the politicians who rig elections. As you can see, Nigeria is currently unstable because the last elections were rigged like 1993, and that's why you've seen the current crisis we have today in the country. Yes, President Tinubu has been inaugurated, but we do not have the stability that we should have because of that particular thing we did. We repeated the same mistake we made in 1993. And I think it is the reasons why most people who may be based on ethnic considerations have decided to stay mute, which is wrong. I'm now beginning to have a change of mind and now regretting. The worst things that could happen to a country is to have politicians who do not respect the democracy, as you have heard. The reasons for the multiple coups across the Sahel is the fact that politicians are no more respecting democracy, and Nigeria is not an exception. Nigeria is currently in the grip of protagonists of state capture. And those protagonists of state capture, I can bet you they will not win. The critical mass currently formed by the youth is enough to get rid of them. No matter how they want to hold on, they will not be able to stay. Today, we have the same instability that we had when Abuja was forced upon the polity after the annulment of Abiola's election. Anytime you commit such an act in a given society, you're bound to have the same kind of reactions. That's why today in Nigeria, you have instability because of the consequences of the bad election that we had. And I think that's where we can take it from. We don't need to look too much. We have done a lot. We've gained awareness, which is very, very important. Awareness first, which we now have today in Nigeria. Awareness first, which we currently have in the Sahel. What comes after the awareness is exactly what you're seeing right now. Instability, when people feel that they are cheated, but definitely they will win. Why do I say so? They have up to 80% of the current voting population across the country. And those are the young people I'm telling you about. So don't listen to politicians who try to divert their attention and try to incite the struggle or try to put it to one politician. No, it's about the youth and the legacy politicians who seem to have dug in their old ways, but I can bet you those ways are gone. And that is the critical consideration all Nigerians should be having this Independence Day. There is no independence if the people cannot vote and have their voting determinations carried out.
Now, Katch,
and the judiciary being compromised for them to give this kind of results that we've had all over the country.
Well, Katch, some people might argue with you as regards your claims. Of course, they could say that this administration is in its fledgling state and one would need to be patient enough to see how its policies that has been rolled out in time will benefit the masses and, of course, the economy. And, of course, there has been no empirical evidence to prove that there are irregularities or there have been underhandlings with the last election that happened in the country. But then if we are to quickly look at the role that the youths in Nigeria played before, during, and after the elections, where did they get it right? Where were the misses? And how do you think they can galvanize their strength and come together to continue to advocate for a better Nigeria?
I can tell you they've not gotten anything wrong. They have also not missed anything. The youth got it right as they started their agitations on the streets. Last year was the very first time when they decided to back a mainstream political platform. And that's how it works. If you want to kill a python, it doesn't die from the very first strike. You keep hitting it, you keep hitting it, you keep hitting it. And I think the youth have made their positions known and the country has taken notice. As you saw in Niger, the youth made their positions known. President Buhari annulled and imposed Mr. Bazoum. And of course, you saw what happened. Other youths took guns and overthrew. The same thing has happened in other countries in the Sahel. Now, we do not agree for undemocratic change of governments. But when people who are in power refuse for democracy to take its natural course, you're inevitably forcing society, as Atiku was saying in 2015, to take to undemocratic means. We will have change. I have no doubt about it. I am very optimistic. I believe this is the best time to be alive as a Nigerian. I believe Nigerians have finally found their voice. The fact that we've stood up now and we're challenging every fraudulent activity by the politicians tells you that we've gotten there. First, awareness. Then awareness, you build a critical mass. The next one, you win control. We are there. I cannot see anywhere the youth have gotten it wrong. The youth so far are doing it well. Taking positions in politics is a good thing for the youth. Before, they were docile, and that docility did not help them at all.
Okay, Katch, let's just go down memory lane a bit. Majority of our post-independence and early leaders were seen as nationalists. With the deep divisions that exist in the country, that is Nigeria as of now, can the same be said of the current crop of leaders that we have, looking at 1999 up till date?
Well, what you have had, the current recruit of leaders are transitory leaders. I will say from 1999, our return to democracy has been a transitory game. And that's why, we had the PDP that was formed to become the platform upon which Nigerians transited from dictatorship to a democracy. I believe we have now come to the end of the very first progressive round. We are now entering a very crucial space, a space where there is so much awareness in the polity, and based on that awareness, you're now seeing an egalitarian reaction from the streets demanded to be included in the political decision making.
Okay.
Before, we never used to be this politically active, but now Nigerians are. So I think that where the youth are today, so what you call a labor movement, obedient, that is the youth.
Okay, now, Katch, let's
having a proper name to be given to the youth movement. That is the youth that you've seen.
All right, Katch, let's quickly take a detour. Katch, if you're listening to me, let's just quickly take a detour because, of course, we are pressed for time and we need to accommodate as many responses as we can get from you. Now, let's talk about the president, that is Bola Tinubu. He just returned to the country. Now, there seems to have been a diplomatic row that ensued between the Nigerian government and that of Nigeria over flying within its airspace. Now, what do you think of that, most especially the fact that it was not there is no way that we could have said this was where he was at a particular time in about 6 or 7 days, where he left the 78th session of the United Nations National Assembly?
Well, in regards to that, I'll tell you that he will learn on the job. He will learn on the job to also to understand how not to make foreign policy mistakes. Here in Nigeria, we have Niger. Niger is the country that's very close to Nigeria. It is in the interest of Nigeria and the president of Nigeria to have policies that are friendly to our brothers in Niger. Don't forget, Niger is populated 54% by the Hausa ethnic group. So why would you want to go on a proxy war in Niger on behalf of France against fellow Africans who are also sharing ethnic lineage with Nigerians? Africans that have same ethnic heritage as Nigerians. You want to fight them on behalf of France.
All right, Katch.
So that crisis you saw on his returning is as a consequence of a bad decision.
All right, Katch, Ononuju, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We know that there's so many things we'd like to say, but then we'd appreciate your contribution on the news tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.